Embrace your emotions. Embrace your emotions when you play. Because when you bottle them up, they even talk about emotions in the book, man. When you bottle up your emotions, they accumulate. Your emotions don't leave until you feel them. And so if you are playing your game, you keep on shutting off, like, you feel tilted and you like keep on trying to push that tilt down. It's just going to keep on growing throughout the rest of the game until at one point you just burst. But if you feel the emotions as you play, it's like having a balloon and you're like slowly leaking out the air so that the tilt never gets to a point where it bursts. It just slowly leaks out. So if you feel your emotions as you play, you feel your tilt, you feel your anger, feel your confidence, it will slowly leak out. That's how you keep it in balance. But if you don't feel it, that balloon will just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it bursts, and then you end up smashing your keyboard and shit like that. So that's what they talk about in the book is people think when you're performing at a task or a skill, a sport, whatever it is, that you're supposed to be in some like Zen-like state where you're just no emotions. I'm super focused, and that's not true. You're supposed to feel emotions when you play. There's like three types of thinking, right? You got your unconscious thinking. This is just like your unconscious thinking is like things you don't have to think about. Your heartbeat, your breathing, walking, chewing gum. This is stuff that you have ingrained down so well that there's no thinking about it, right? Second way of thinking is emotion. And then thirdly, you have your higher thinking or your cognitive functioning. Your cognitive thinking is like, when you think about stuff, your logical mind. And basically the idea is that if your emotions they pass a certain threshold, they get too, excited, whether that's fear, tilts, or you get too confident, or you get too motivated. Like any singular emotion, if it goes to too high of a level and passes a certain threshold, it will impair your cognitive thinking. And this is why you start playing dumb when you're tilted, because your emotions are so high you can't think straight. It's literally a thing. All right, so if your emotions are in check, then you have access to your cognitive thinking and things that you're still in the process of learning, and you could still use those things. So when you're playing your best, it's usually because you're in a mentally stable environment. You're not stressed that day, you're not tilted that day. Like all this stuff that's just like saved in your head that you can access because you're not too emotional. Usually when you play your worst, it's because of like some emotional threshold that's been passed. You lose access to all the things that you were in the process of learning of because your cognitive abilities become impaired. So usually when you play your worst, it's because of like some either too little emotion or too high of an emotion.